Hello, my friends, and welcome to Youth Potential, a channel dedicated to helping young people with mental health problems. I have two books available, 102 Distraction Techniques and Self-Harm to Self-Harmony. Both of these books are only available on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hello, my friend Scott here representing Youth Potential. Today I'm going to be talking about how I feel and how I react when I catch people staring at my scars in public. First of all, thank you very much for voting on this video. I've had 98 responses in like 24 hours. That's quite a lot of responses for that short space of time for my channel, so that is like totally awesome. Thank you very much. This video got 55% of the votes, so yeah, it was a landslide victory again. Also, before I go on, I just want to give a special mention, and I have done this before on my channel, to my friend Malika, aka Self-Harmer Problems. The last video I did, all the credit goes to her because she did one on her channel. I'm going to put a link in the description below somewhere. Please go and watch that. She does really good stuff on YouTube and Instagram, so yeah, I'll put all the necessary links in. But yeah, anyway, credit to her because it was her idea. Anyway, so how I react when I catch people staring at my scars in public. Well, I've kind of broken this down to like three sort of reactions and feelings because it really does depend on the mindset I'm in. I mean, if I'm just in like an average mindset and I'm actually well balanced for once, or I'm relatively happy, I just kind of don't really pay attention to it, and I'm not really looking for people like that, so I just nothing, there's no reaction whatsoever. However, when I feel like in an anxious mindset, I tend to go, I have my tangle with me all times when I'm in public. I tend to be playing with that a lot when I catch people staring at me, and sometimes I feel a little bit upset. I know I shouldn't be like ashamed of my scars or anything, and I'm not, but when I'm like really anxious and I feel like everyone's staring at me, they're probably not even looking at my scars, but when they're staring at me and I feel really anxious, you know, like pre-panic attack kind of anxious, or even starting to have a small panic attack, it gets quite overwhelming and I tend to want to like run, and that has happened a couple of times. I've just kind of like moved quickly out of that area to get to a non-busy place. Yeah, so when I feel anxious, that's just kind of how I react in that sense. When I'm manic, so I'm like really giddy and laughing and all that kind of stuff, I'm usually with my partner, Carla, and we kind of normally bounce off each other. And if I catch people staring at me or her, I kind of just do this really stupid grin in their face to like let them know that I can see what they're staring at, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, I look a little bit crazy. To them, I probably am the definition of crazy. They're not used to it, and they're seeing this guy with scars or this girl with scars, and he's just putting a stupid grin at me back. Fuck it, I don't care. At the end of the day, they don't realise how uncomfortable they're making me feel, so I'm just going to make them feel uncomfortable without damaging anyone's like self-esteem or confidence. I'm just, yeah, it's just and sometimes I do have a little giggle as well, just like, and they look at me and probably think, what the fuck is this guy doing? But I suppose it is a kind of like coping defense mechanism, really. But if I'm manic, it takes a lot to kind of bring me down in that state, because I'm really all like hyped up and just like, and lots of things will be funny, and I'll just notice stupid little details about things, and it will just make me all hyped up, you know. But honestly, this next one is probably the one I experience the most when it comes to me staring at people, people staring at me, like my scars or even cuts. I get angry a lot of the time. Now, there are some people who will walk past or whatever, they'll look and then they'll look away, and that will be that, okay? They're not the people I'm angry with. I fully understand when you see something that you're not used to seeing, you kind of look at it for a split second, especially if it's a person. You kind of examine it quickly, you analyse it, and then you move on. Maybe that person's still thinking about it when they move on. Maybe they're not. Maybe they've seen self-harm before loads of times and they just don't care. Or maybe they're just like, oh, okay, that guy's got scars, okay, they get on with their life. they're not the people that anger me. I fully respect people that do that, because, you know, anything that's slightly different on a person, whether it be on their skin or their behaviour or whatever they're wearing, you know, anything that's just a little bit different to your stereotypical or image of a person, you're going to have a little stare, you're going to have a little look. You know, just human nature. We're curious people, and that's what we do, and that's fine. Okay, it's fine. But the one that I really have a problem with is when I'm feeling a little bit frustrated or just flat, just maybe a little bit depressed or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, okay, if anything tries to light my fuse, I have a short fuse and it's not going to end well. So these people, they'll stare, and they will stare, and they will stare for ages, and I'll look at them, and then they'll until they look at me, and then they're like, either one of two things happen. Either they're like, oh shit, or they're like, look away, and then they'll start looking again. And I will always stare back with this. Just a kind of emotionless, stern face almost, just to like say, you know, I know you're looking, like, I can see that you're looking at me. I know what you're staring at. I'm not stupid. And 99% of the time they just look away feeling like embarrassed or like, oh shit, I've been caught, you know. On the very few occasions, sometimes people, I will lock eyes with them, stare at them, they'll look away, then they'll look back at me, and then there will just be like this little staring contest almost. And then if it goes on for a few seconds, I normally just mutter to myself, what the fuck are you looking at? Yeah, that really bothers me, you know. Like, I shouldn't let it bother me, but because it happens so often, and, you know, I'm not stupid. I'm going to expect people to stare at scars and definitely any cuts or whatever. But don't fucking stare at me for a while, you know, and start making me feel uncomfortable, you know. I don't want to be fucking stared at, okay? If I want to be stared at least and then look me in the eye and smile as if to say, it's all good, it's okay, you know? You know, I notice some people do that as well. They'll look, and then they'll look up at me and they'll smile. And I actually quite appreciate that, because, you know, to me, that kind of body language says, I can see you've had your struggles. I respect that you have that out on show in public. Smile, you know? Because smiles are infectious, you know, and I want to smile back, you know? But yeah, the people that just stare in almost disbelief or in shock or disgust, oh, fucking hell. And it actually annoys me more when I'm with my partner, Carla, and they stare at her. And I really go out my way to make it obvious that I've noticed. Like, I'll lean like in front of her sometimes. I'll just be like this. With that kind of sarcastic smile. Like, and there have been a couple of times where I'm like they're staring, and I'll say to Carla, hey, that person over there's staring, and then they get really fucking embarrassed. You can see them like go red in the cheeks and everything. It's just, yeah, like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna stare at my self-harm and you're not gonna look me up in the eye and smile, or you can just look away quickly, you know, acknowledge it. If you're just gonna fucking stare, make me feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna stare back at you, because that's exactly how it feels, you know. Being stared at isn't nice. It doesn't matter what kind of position you're in, like being stared at, it just makes me feel uncomfortable regardless, you know. And you're like, shit, what am I, have I got a stain down my top? Have I, is my hair sticking out in one end? You're like, you know, what is it? You're like, oh, my scars, obviously. And yeah, you could say, oh, why don't you just wear long sleeves? No, I'm not gonna fucking wear long sleeves, you know. This time of year is fucking hot. I'm gonna wear short sleeves at the end of the day. I don't, you know, I spend so much of my life trying to hide it from people. Like, when I go out in public, I want to be able to wear what I want to wear without being stared at, okay? Just, please, if you're going to look, just have a quick look, acknowledge, move on, okay? This is the kind of shit that happens behind closed doors, and I'm not trying to promote self-harm, that's not how it works, but, you know, it's about creating awareness, it's about acceptance more than anything else. And, you know, we shouldn't have to hide at the end of the day. So I'm not going to fucking hide anymore. I'm just going to get out there. I'm going to be myself. And yeah, just please don't stare at us. Okay? We don't like it. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you are brave enough to go out with scars, please leave your comments below about when maybe people have stared at you and you've reacted to them, or let me know how you feel when people stare at you, whether it's cuts or scars or whatever. I love reading your comments. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. All the best. Take care. Bye.